In the vast, sprawling cosmos of the DC universe, one name echoes with a terror that chills even the bravest of heroes. A name that signifies not just evil, but the absolute, philosophical embodiment of tyranny itself. That name is Darkseid. Since his thunderous debut in 1970, crafted by the legendary Jack Kirby, Darkseid has stood as the ultimate endgame, the final boss, the very personification of malevolence. But who is this god of evil, and what drives his unending war against all life? Let us descend into the fiery pits of Apocalypse and uncover the story of the DC Universe's greatest threat. Our story begins not with a god, but with a prince named Uxas, the second son of King Yuga Khan and Queen Hegra, rulers of the hellish planet Apocalypse. Uxas was consumed by a burning ambition and a deep-seated hatred for the decadent old gods. He despised everything they stood for, especially his older brother Drax, who was destined to inherit the throne and ascend to godhood by wielding the legendary Omega Force. But Uxas had other plans. He was a master manipulator, whispering poisonous lies and stoking chaos wherever he went. His first major act of treachery was manipulating his uncle, the renowned Steppenwolf, into a war with their rival planet, New Genesis. This conflict led to the death of New Genesis's leader's wife, and ultimately, Steppenwolf's own demise at the hands of Highfather. Uxas used this tragedy to further his own power, but his ultimate betrayal was reserved for his own family. As Drax prepared to connect with the Omega Force, Uxas intervened. At the critical moment, he pushed his brother aside and seized the cosmic power for himself. The raw energy twisted and corrupted him, transforming the mortal prince into a monstrous, stone-faced god of tyranny. With the Omega Force now his, he rechristened himself. Uxas was dead. Now, there was only Darkseid. His first act as a new god, he returned home and murdered his own mother, Queen Hegra, seizing the throne of Apocalypse for himself. With the power of a god coursing through his veins, Darkseid is a force of nature. His most iconic and terrifying ability is the Omega Beams. These are not simple energy blasts. They are beams of pure entropy fired from his eyes. They can change direction mid-flight, phase through objects, and are capable of disintegrating most beings from existence. Even Superman has been brought to his knees by their devastating power. But the true horror lies in another of their functions, the Omega Sanction. This is a fate far worse than death. Instead of destroying his target, Darkseid can use the Omega Beams to trap them in an endless cycle of painful realities, a living hell from which there is no escape. This is the punishment he once inflicted upon Batman, sending him hurtling through time in a desperate struggle for survival. Beyond these cosmic powers, Darkseid possesses immense physical strength and durability that puts him on par with, and often far above, Superman. He can shatter planets with his bare hands and withstand blows that would obliterate lesser beings. He commands legions of Paradman's monstrous shock troops bred for war and is served by a terrifying court of new gods, including the sadistic Darkseid, the brilliant strategist Steppenwolf, and the fearsome Granny Goodness who trains his elite female furies. Darkseid is not just a physical threat. He is a strategic mastermind, a king who rules his domain with an iron fist, and a symbol of absolute, unwavering control. So, what is the ultimate goal of a being with such immense power? It's not simply conquest or destruction. Darkseid's ambition is far more profound, far more terrifying. He seeks the anti-life equation. This isn't a mathematical formula. It is a cosmic concept, a truth so powerful that it proves life, hope, and free will are meaningless. To possess the anti-life equation is to gain absolute control over the minds of every living sentient being in the universe. Imagine a cosmos where every thought, every action, every word is dictated by a single, malevolent will. No freedom, no choice, no individuality, only obedience, only Darkseid. This is his ultimate prize, the total eradication of free will and the subjugation of all existence to his singular, tyrannical vision. For Darkseid, life is a chaotic anomaly that must be corrected, and the equation is the tool to impose his perfect, rigid order upon the universe. Such a monumental quest for domination has inevitably brought Darkseid into conflict with the greatest forces for good in the cosmos. His primary and most personal rivalry is with New Genesis, the idyllic sister planet to his hellish Apocalypse, ruled by the benevolent Highfather. In a desperate pact to end their endless war, the two leaders exchanged sons. Highfather's son Scot-Free was sent to suffer on Apocalypse, while Darkseid's own son Orion was raised in the light of New Genesis. This created a bitter, tragic rivalry. Orion, though raised in peace, constantly battles the violent nature inherited from his father, and prophecy states that he is the one destined to ultimately kill Darkseid in a final, cataclysmic battle. Of course, Darkseid's quest for the anti-life equation often leads him to Earth, a planet he sees as a key repository of the formula's fragments. This has put him on a collision course with Earth's greatest champion, Superman. Their battles are legendary, a clash of diametrically opposed ideologies, hope versus despair, freedom versus tyranny. Superman represents everything Darkseid despises, but the threat of Darkseid is so immense that it often requires more than just one hero. He is one of the few villains who can single-handedly force the entire Justice League, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and all the rest to unite. pushing them to their absolute limits and beyond. His invasions of Earth are apocalyptic events that threaten the very fabric of reality. From the fiery pits of apocalypse to the farthest reaches of the multiverse, Darkseid's shadow looms large. He is more than just a supervillain. He is a fundamental force of the universe, the living embodiment of tyranny. He is the ultimate challenge, the villain that heroes are measured against. His presence signifies an endgame-level threat, a crisis that could shatter worlds. He has died and been reborn, been erased and returned, his evil essence proving to be an inescapable constant in the DC cosmos. He is the final boss, the god of evil, and the eternal enemy of freedom. In the end, all roads lead to him, because Darkseid is. Thanks for diving deep into the darkness with us today. If you enjoyed this journey into the lore of one of comics' greatest villains, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration. Let us know in the comments which character you want us to cover next. Until then, stay heroic.